Most major newspapers have food sections, and most food sections have an editor. Donna Jenkins' job is to keep her readers informed about what's happening in the food industry, the changes taking place, new food ideas, including new recipes. In the 6 years Donna has been food editor, she has written hundreds of articles on food. But the constant changes in the food industry, the new scientific developments, and the growth within each industry provide a never-ending source of feature material.
I do receive a lot of material. In fact, my biggest challenge is to choose which of the many topics that cross my desk to write about. This letter and material from the meat board about the new pork will be perfect for a feature. Seems time to re-inform my readers about pork and the changes that have taken place in pork the last few years. Besides, there are so many great recipes for pork. It's a perfect story idea. Too few people know how nutritious, versatile, and tasty pork really is. This seems a good place to begin the article, with a few basic facts about pork. It has 22% more protein, 3 times as much thiamine as any other food source, and is 98% digestible, with 57% less fat per ounce of meat. How about this? The new pork has 36% fewer calories than ever before. That's news. Why, it's almost a completely new meat. The consumer certainly benefits from the extensive research in pork. In checking at my local supermarket before writing the article, I was amazed to find so many different cuts available. With so much variety, the possibilities for recipes using pork are almost endless. And the meat? So tender, so lean. There's pork sirloin roast, spare ribs, country style and back ribs, and fresh legs of pork, Boston shoulder roasts, boneless Boston shoulder rolls, pork steaks, fresh ham hocks, bacon, hams in every size, shape, and cut, smoked pork chops, pork cubes for kebabs, and Canadian-style bacon, fresh pork sausage links, porklets, loin and rib chops, and look at these butterfly chops. It's exciting to think of all the different ways there are to serve pork. A beautiful pork loin roast, pork chops, or a scrumptious baked ham. Well, I have the topic for my feature. Now I need a title. Of course. The new pork, an exciting taste treat.
Donna Jenkins is not only a food editor of a major newspaper, but a home economist as well. Often, Donna uses the pictures of foods and prepared dishes sent to her by food experts. But there are times when she wants to develop some of her own ideas. And so, Donna seeks the help of a professional photographer who specializes in making glamorous food pictures for newspapers and magazines. For her section on quick meals with pork, Donna and the photographer, working in the newspaper's own test kitchen, choose the table settings to appear in the pictures.
Each of the ideas in this part of my article can be prepared in an hour or less. Broiled pork chops make a delicious and convenient meal. When you want a little added glamour, Garnish with bacon-wrapped bananas. Or porklets Romanoff, easy to prepare. Just arrange browned porklets on noodles Romanoff, bake and serve. Or how about ham kebabs? They're made with ham cubes, pineapple chunks, and canned sweet potatoes. Just broil for 15 to 20 minutes, 3 to 4 inches from the heat. There are literally dozens of different recipes that can be used for quick meals with pork. And each one is perfect for the homemaker who hasn't the time to prepare an elaborate meal. Take, for example, pork blade steaks, browned, then topped with slices of onion, tomato and green pepper, then baked. That's an attractive luncheon or dinner suggestion, and it's quick to prepare. Or pork sausage Reuben for a different hot sandwich. Just cover rye bread with sauerkraut, then top with a browned sausage patty and a slice of Swiss cheese and broil. For a speedy supper, serve a Canadian-style bacon and squash casserole that includes cranberries and chopped nuts for added interest. The other night I decided to try an interesting Spanish dish using pork chops. I always keep a good supply of pork products carefully wrapped in my freezer, and had defrosted a package of chops in the refrigerator the night before. I label each package of meat with the name of the cut and the date of purchase for easy identification. The recipe I'd chosen called for the chops to be browned, seasoned and cooked slowly with chopped onion, mushrooms, tomato sauce, and olives. And while it cooked, I had plenty of time to prepare a fruit salad and green vegetable to go with the main dish. It made an appetizing entree to place on my table, colorful and packed with flavor. The meat was so juicy and tender, but best of all, it took less than an hour to prepare the whole dinner. The photographer did a marvelous job yesterday. These pictures certainly capture the beauty of the new pork and make it look as tempting as it tastes. What better way to illustrate my article on quick meals with pork?
Part of a food editor's responsibility in doing a feature article is accumulation of different recipe ideas from the simple to the elegant. While working on elegant dishes made with pork for the feature, Donna Jenkins, newspaper food editor, decided to call her boss, the feature editor, and invite him and his wife for dinner. What better reason for preparing an elegant dinner? Pork provides dozens of dishes that are perfect for special occasions and holidays. And one of the best places to get recipe ideas is from a home economist. Although Donna is a home economist herself, she often seeks out the advice and suggestions of others. For her Elegant Meals with Pork article, she went to the test kitchen at the newspaper and talked with a home economist on her staff who specializes in recipe development.
After we talked it over, she suggested for a special meal a center-cut pork loin roast with a crabapple glaze. A 3 to 5 pound roast that's really quite easy to prepare. It's glazed with the juice of spiced crab apples during the last 15 minutes of cooking, and the result is an elegant entree. Here's another great dish, stuffed pork chops. Use double-thick rib chops, stuffed with cooked rice, mushrooms, and grated cheese, then bake. Frequently, a sauce or glaze is added to popular cuts for special appeal. For instance, a boneless ham. Beautiful. Especially when it's glazed with jelly, which is brushed on for the last 30 minutes of baking. And the next day there can be super ham sandwiches from the leftovers. Or a beautiful ham and fruit salad. Pork tenderloin and brochette is a marvelous menu idea. Thread pieces of tenderloin and cooked carrots, squares of green pepper, and halved mushrooms. Then broil and serve on herbed rice. For an unusual menu, she suggested tender smoked pork chops flambé, garnished with peach halves. What could be more simple and at the same time more elegant? For the final touch, add warm brandy and light it for drama. It's just amazing how many different ways there are to prepare pork. Putting together this Elegance with Pork article has certainly opened my eyes to the possibilities pork offers the homemaker who's entertaining. I bet my readers will be surprised at all the different menu ideas they can choose when they choose pork.
As food editor on a major metropolitan newspaper, Donna Jenkins is writing a feature on the new pork. One part of the article concentrates on that favorite pastime, barbecuing.
Today, cooking often moves out of doors, so it's timely any season to write about barbecuing, or better yet, pork-a-cuing. Here's a treat from the grill, south of the border back ribs. A perfect main dish, or cut into individual rib pieces for appetizers. For a simple spicy sauce, just mix taco seasoning with tomato sauce. You know, the nice thing about barbecuing is when it rains, you can do it indoors. Boneless loin roast cooked on a rotisserie at a low to moderate temperature to an internal temperature of 170 degrees. It's a marvelous outdoor or indoor idea and is a tender, juicy dinner for family and friends. Any cut of today's pork can be cooked on the grill or rotisserie. How about spare ribs, brushed with a barbecue sauce while turning on a rotisserie? The ribs are basted with the sauce every half hour until they're done. I really should include those kebabs I made for our barbecue last Sunday. Marinate cubes of boneless pork shoulder in Italian dressing overnight. Then take several small zucchini, cut them in 1-inch diagonal pieces, and alternate with the pork cubes and cherry tomatoes on metal skewers. Finish with the marinade, place them on the grill, and in about 20 to 30 minutes, you have perfect pork kebabs Italienne. As fun to eat as they are tender and delicious. And I mustn't forget pork chops. And ham steaks. Once you begin listing the different pork cuts for a cookout, it's hard to stop. Well, I think that wraps up this section of my article on the new pork. Outdoor cooking with pork is more exciting than ever. So many cuts, so many recipe ideas. No wonder more and more cooks are discovering for cooking outdoors, pork is the perfect choice.
It's almost deadline time for food editor Donna Jenkins' feature on the new pork, and the last part of the article is being completed. Donna must decide which of the many different pork recipes to include.
The wonderful thing about pork is its versatility. There are so many different cuts and ways to prepare them, like roast leg of pork. Here's one the meat board sent me, choucroute et garnie, a gourmet dish that's a combination of fresh and smoked pork, including sausage, with sauerkraut, apples, and potatoes. So many different cuts of fresh pork available, like porklet pizza sandwiches. That would be an appealing lunchtime or late night snack. Just place brown porklets on English muffins, top with tomato sauce and mozzarella cheese, and broil a few minutes. What a list of dishes to have to choose from. Smoked pork shoulder stacks, made with slices of cooked shoulder roll, topped with pineapple, sweet potatoes, and marshmallows. Perfect for a quick, delicious family meal. Or for something different for a special occasion, how about savory almond din? A Chinese specialty that anyone can make. Pork blade steaks, sliced into strips, are browned, seasoned and cooked with green pepper, frozen Italian beans, celery, mushrooms, water chestnuts, and bouillon. Top with pimento and toasted almonds and serve with Chinese noodles. It's an Oriental surprise your family will love. And I could add the butterfly chops and rice a l'orange I made the other night. The recipe called for butterfly chops browned and baked on a combination of rice, orange juice, raisins, and pecans. So easy to prepare and a perfect meal in one. Well, I think I've covered every aspect of the new pork. The higher protein, lower fat content of pork, a leaner meat with fewer calories, ease of preparation, elegant dishes with pork, its versatility. I couldn't have picked a better title. The new pork really is an exciting taste treat.